Hello, Brian Matteson. Thank you for being back on my show. And like I said, sorry for there was a little mishap in the past. So it's cool to have you back here because as far as I know, we have some very important subject to cover. But maybe you give us just a very short overview who you are. And then we dive into the topic right away.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me back. I'm Brian Matteson from Wisconsin. I basically I'm in the process of trying to transition from a lot of the YouTube videos I've done. I've done a lot of cover songs on YouTube and things like that with a range, some kind of pushing more into heavy metal. Some were just a little more acoustic or kind of true to the original, perhaps. But right now I'm kind of in the process of trying to figure out artistically what direction I want to go in as an original songwriter. And does that cover it?
That's of course it covers it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, for the listeners and viewers, we kind of talked about it a little bit before that we want to do it on the show, kind of, so that because what we're going to do about now is I don't have an answer, but I can help you finding an answer. As far as I know, and I know very little, is that all the answers are in you. You need to find your way of doing your things. And if people have seen the video we did before, you're quite an accomplished musician, so you know a lot of things. But now you kind of want to see what you as Brian Matteson really want to do. And I have a few ideas what I would say, but like I said, we will just talk about it and see in the process where we land. Because like with music in general, there is no right or wrong. There's just you like it or you don't like it, or you're happy or not happy, and there is no. Of course, we have maybe some restrictions with. If you want to live from it, if how much money you can spend, or if it's just a hobby or so. So it's not that easy, but we have about 2 hours to find out what's the best solution for you. And I'm just here, as I see it, as a guide to just see where I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I love that though. I love it because one of the things I really like about this is that. We're fairly new friends, acquaintances, and so you don't have any reason. Friends, okay, good. I just want to make sure. We're friends, and you don't have any reason to tell me anything in particular. So that's kind of nice. If it's family or friends, people who have known me my whole life, maybe they might have more of an idea built up in their head of what who they think I am or what they think I should do. Really quick before we get into it, I just had to show you this. Whipped up a little cup of my own today. Oh, is it backwards for you? For me, I had to write it backwards, but maybe it flips it for you. So I hope it's not backwards.
Thank you very much. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So I got
first time for me. You got it from my gift shop.
Oh, really? I can't believe. Yeah. I think I can order this online, right?
Thank you. You're so artistic, You should kind of get into mug design because, then you can call yourself "I'm a mugger."
Mugger, yeah.
Sorry. I like these stupids. I've been mugged. I like this wordplay jokes. That's kind of if you would know me here in Germany, in my environment, people are kind of like, oh, he again. But I like it. I like to play with words. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I I get that the good thing is for, like you just said, that I don't know you very well. I found you by accident, like we discussed in the last video, and I'm really happy that I found you. And I remember under your video there was nice done, Brian, and it was and then thanks, Mom. This is exactly the problem. If you, and I guess every musician can relate to that, you cannot really rely on your friends and your family to give you an untinged perspective, an objective perspective of yourself, because they know you, and it's absolutely normal. And I remember my own mom, whenever I showed her some of my stuff, it's nice. But, it doesn't mean anything. It's kind of like she didn't. I know she didn't like it, but she would always say, "Oh, it's nice." And it doesn't matter if it was a pop song or a heavy metal song. And so so we are kind of don't know each other so good that I'm a little bit more outside of your bubble, so that I'm kind of having a little bit more. Yeah, the outside view, basically.
Yeah, and I think, sorry, I just got to change something on my settings here real quick. There we go. I had like a big reverb on accident on my vocals, so it was a little too distracting. But yeah, I think that's a really good point, and I think it's something anybody who does anything creative needs to be aware of, which is you have to know kind of who you're talking to. If you're talking to somebody... some people just aren't, it's like if you needed financial advice, talking to somebody who's in that industry would be the way to go, more than likely. If you talk to Uncle Bob about it, or your neighbor who does something completely different with their life, they might not have they're just not in that headspace to understand maybe what you're looking for or what you're trying to do. And I think with creative endeavors, it gets even more difficult because everyone kind of likes different things. And even for me personally, I can say over the years, I've changed a lot in terms of what I want to listen to. In a lot of ways, like when I was younger, I think I mentioned Meshuggah last time, another band like Opeth. Was big back then. And they're amazing. But sometimes you might not want like a 10-minute song that goes through all these different things, right? So
exactly.
I think for me creatively, it's like I want to be able to do it all, or at least have the skill set to understand. I'm not saying I'm going to do every genre and do it perfectly or anything like that, but sometimes I want to write a pop song and let it be a pop song, and sometimes I want to just go on a crazy journey and see if I can navigate that without, totally getting lost and bore the audience. But so going back, so I had sent you a couple songs that I was working on, and I think my thought there was basically learn the rules before you try to break them. Just write something that's coherent and makes sense, as a piece that might not be the most creative, might not be the most adventurous, but it's a song anyone would hear, but yeah, that's a song. So, but also I sometimes I forget that it's 2021 now, and like the stakes have been raised. Like I think I don't know at what point things change, but it's sort of like at some point you could just write a good song that was what it was, and everything hadn't been done a million times yet, something like that. Where now it's just like, there's so much competition, and there's so much that you need to try to stand out from the crowd, that kind of thing. That maybe, I'm not saying it's not worth writing simple songs. I do think that like some people still want to hear that. And if that's what, even for me, it's like, no matter what I do, there's always a place for simple songs as well. But they're probably not gonna skyrocket me into superstardom or anything like that. What's your feeling about that?
Yeah. Okay. I think I already told you last time. one of the issues I often see with people who are like you have, Gary the band, where you do a lot of cover songs and stuff. The problem I see here is that you're kind of, like you just said, you're using the standard formula to do something, and you just you want to first learn it before you can break the rules. But this kind of is like, I don't want to over exaggerate, but it has been done 100,000 times done, and so the songs you sent me were good, and they are craftsmanships very well done. But from my point of view, and this, we're talking real talk here, and I'm German, so we are more open.
Yeah.
What we lacked was kind of inspiration. We were done well, we were done with the right formula, A, B, and whatever. You know exactly what to do, and you did it very well. So if I would hear the song on the radio, it would not jump out. But it would also, because it was so bad, or what, it was also good mixed and produced. Everything was fine, but it would also not jump out because it was like, oh, look, where's something unexpected. This is what you'll. I'm talking about myself now. What I'm looking today, because as you know, I'm also a radio DJ. I get a lot of songs. I don't know if you notice this. I'm also on Submit Hub, and I regularly have to pause my account for 10 days or a week or so because I get too much, and I cannot go through all this stuff. And so, what I mean with that, I'm also kind of very saturated with music. I get a lot. So in order to kind of reach me, you need the level is a little bit higher. I don't say that I'm an expert or better than someone else, but you need to touch me. That's it. And don't get me wrong. This is all coming from a place of love. Really don't get me wrong. And they didn't touch me. They were excellently made, but we were kind of, I could hear, and this is often a critic of mine when I criticize people who send me music, because sometimes I have to write a critic and stuff, that they are so foreseeable. After like 30 seconds or at least a minute or so, I could see where it goes, where it ends, where how it will progress, And this is for me like, okay, it's well done. And having said this, sometimes I really like that, if I'm really in the genre, like for me it's Gothic rock. They're sometimes so formulaic, the stuff, that I can hear the first few chords and I already know, oh yeah, this is but I love it. And then I still go for it. You get my point? This is, so I'm very biased. I'm very biased as well. Sometimes I want some extraordinary, and I want from you to jump through a lot of hoops to get my attention. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this is my kind of stuff. I'm a big Sisters of Mercy fan, and so I grew up with these songs, and they're, now they're done formulaic to the, I don't know, they're overused, but I still love the style. You get my point? So
yeah.
I was, of course, thinking a little bit about our conversation and what I would suggest, and I think I already suggested in the last talk, because I really like that you're all over the place. And, like what you said, like you want to do a pop song, and you like also opeth, and you want to do a 10-minute song. This is really how you should do it, in my point of view. To not kind of get bogged down by, I'm now this Brian Matteson or whatever, how you ever will call your project or your solo project. And I can only do this kind of music, because this is, I don't know, I would, we are so, we're living in a society where you have to do this, cross the street, with a green light. You have so many rules, and music is one of the things, like you said, you can break the rules, and you can do whatever you want. If you cannot think of a nice chorus, then there is no chorus. And if you don't, or if there's just a chorus, then you have a chorus 3 times. And it's fine, you can do whatever you want. So I have already a lot of thoughts of it, and just whenever cut me down because or interrupt me, not cut me down.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're really trying to get very professional with it, because there's this thing as a hobbyist. Do whatever you want, and if you have fun, that's all that it takes, And if you're successful, cool. If not, hey, you had fun. This is absolutely fine. But if you want to be more successful, then you have to be, maybe you have a different mindset then, I mean, even as a hobbyist, you can work hard and polish your mix or whatever. But this is maybe let's talk about this first. So you wanna do you wanna continue, because I think you live from music already with Gary the band, right? This is kind of your most income at the moment, or your source of income.
Yes, yeah, it is, and I think that's part of the tricky thing about it too, is that and I'm sorry, I should have said that earlier when I was introducing myself. So I do play, just for anyone who maybe didn't see the first one, or by the time they see this or whatever, I do play in a cover band. That's my day job. So, and it's a lot of the same songs, and it's a lot of traditional, 70s, 80s, maybe some more modern stuff too, but a lot of 70s and 80s and that kind of thing. And it's great. I love it. I love the idea that I could make, I could pay my bills singing and playing an instrument. That's super cool. But yeah, I mean, if you've sang the same song over and over and over a million times, certainly there's just it may be overall a creative thing, but there's not a lot of creativity that goes into it. Like the, 1,000th time you've sang, a song.
And you as a how you say, as a cover artist, you also have the issue that if you would be, I don't know, let's say, because just the guy from ZZ Top died, if you would cover a ZZ Top song, the people, your audience, would expect them to play it exactly like it is on the CD. If you are ZZ Top and you play the song, they would expect, to kind of expand and do other things.
Yeah.
You are in a different bracket here. They want you to be exactly like this, like they know the song, but if you are the sole writer of a song, you can get along. I don't know. I just covered Inagada da Vida, from Iron Butterfly, and there's a 2-minute version, like a 2 to 3 minute version for the radio stuff, and then there's of course the 17-minute version. And when they played it live, I read about it. They played it for half an hour. So this is what I mean. If you are the creator of an original song, people would kind of expect it to kind of not hear the same stuff. I'm just saying, in your bracket, you are even more closed-minded because people expect you to hear exactly what they know already.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly want to do justice to what people are expecting when you're getting paid money to play somebody else's songs. Mm-hmm. But and not to change the topic, but I think that you brought up a really interesting point, which is that I think that attention spans have changed of listeners, yeah. And I think that plays into me trying to write original music as well. But even doing covers on YouTube, it's just I almost feel like you're better to leave them wanting more sometimes than you are to do the whole thing, at least if it's a cover, because it's almost like people just want like the gist of it. Mm-hmm. If you do the whole thing, you look at your YouTube analytics and the average view time on a 5-minute video is 2 minutes, mm-hmm. even though mm-hmm. it may have gotten a decent number of views or likes. And that's kind of a tricky thing, because on one hand, and this kind of goes into a little bit of creative brain versus logical brain. And I feel like they have to be in sync. Like there's got to be a line somewhere where you allow your creative brain to go a little wild, but the logical brain has to at some point say, okay, but let's put this in some sort of a spot just so it makes sense to people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I think I just yesterday I was watching a video by what's his name? Cleese, the guy from Monty Python, and he explained to some executives how creativity works, and he had this process of, creativity. There is the closed mind and there's the open mind. And the creative part is, of course, the open, where you just play around, but in order to finish something, and this is what you're kind of talking about now, you need a closed mind, because if you're always open, then you never finish a thing. You know this when you have a song idea and, it could go this way and that way. Sometimes you have to say, now, stop, you become a pop song, and I make you a pop song, or a 10-minute opeth-like song. So, you're absolutely right. You need both kind of heads or thinking styles. You need to be open-minded to be creative and stuff, but also closed-minded to finish it, because otherwise it would be like, I know a lot of musicians who have like 1,000 ideas on their hard drive, and one day, and they always start something, and when it comes in the work, where you have to change to close mind, and let's start something new, because it's more fun to puddle around and never finish anything.
Yeah, and honestly, that was me. I mean, that's been me for the last 20 years.
I know you well.
I think, a little too well. And I think that's where. Getting back to the critiques that you had done on the songs that I sent you so far, I'm definitely very open and accepting of criticism, because that just goes hand in hand with, if you're going to do something, you have to have an open mind in terms of putting it out there as well. And so and especially writing different styles, both different genres, but also, standard format versus, longer, opeth style things, we'll say. It's like, I accept any criticism, especially from someone like you, who I know that your intentions are good, and we're friends. So it's almost like I'm kind of craving the flip side from you, because I know it's going to be for a reason, for a purpose. If I show my grandma my heavy metal song, it's like, well, I could probably tell you what she's not going to like about it. So I think it's really important to have that. In my mind, I think, regardless of anything, even if nobody liked the songs that I'd done so far, for me, it's such a huge win, because they're not sitting on a hard drive somewhere. They're
okay. You already got them out there, yeah. And
yeah, it's.
And
I was just gonna say, it's almost.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's almost like you have to. It's kind of like writing lyrics. Sometimes you have to write the wrong lyrics first, knowing they're the wrong lyrics, just to get them out of your head to make room for something better.
Exactly.
It's kind of that.
And then you can fill in, when from the wrong lyrics, you can use 3 or 4 lines and start with the right lyrics then, And so I'm absolutely with you. That's actually a very crucial step for all the musicians out there. You just put something out, and that's the first thing, And this, in German we have a saying, no master is falling from the sky. You have to hone your craft. You have to work. I mean, you had. You have the advantage that you already know a lot of things, and you played for a long time. So you're not, a 16-year-old who's just, I learned guitar for 3 months and this is my first song or something. They are very well crafted and much better. But what I said, for me, they lack the inspiration. They're kind of very, they're good, but they are not original. I mean, you know what I mean? They are original, of course. They are your songs, and this is Yeah, nothing new under the sun. But then again, since Jimi Hendrix, there was nothing new under the sun, because you cannot reinvent the wheel. You would have to invent a new instrument or something, in order to make something new. But then you would, let's not go there.
I think if can I just say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
Before we jump.
This is an open talk here.
Oh, of course, yeah. I didn't want to disrupt your train of thought if you had something else you wanted to jump to right away. But I just wanted to say that I think that like one of the. So I'm not a video expert. We talked a little bit last time about I spent like a month and a half making my Take on Me heavy metal video, which really was a cool step up.
This is really cool. I really like it.
I really appreciate that. And as not a video guy, generally speaking, I was really happy that I spent a little extra time and got a better finished product, right? And so that's kind of how I'm hoping to approach songwriting too. I think if you look at it as it's a mountain going from just getting at the base of the mountain to the peak, like you're not going to get there in 2 projects. So for me, with video, it was like, if it's better than the last thing I did, or if I learn a new skill, then cool, that's good enough. And I think it's kind of the same thing with songwriting. I've got a few, obviously I've got a few other songs in the works that I'm excited to share with you, but they're not quite there yet. We're full swing with the band right now, so the summer's really busy, lots of shows, and got to preserve the voice a little bit. But one in particular that I'm working on, theory-wise, and I'm not like a huge music theory guy either, but if I can just sneak in some relative minors when you wouldn't, when you don't necessarily need to, but I think artistically I like the choice, or dabbling with a key change or a feel change or things like that, where it's just a little bit more intelligent sounding. I will say that about the 2 songs that I sent you so far. I know there's nothing, in terms of surprising the listener, there's a lot of different things you could do. And that's a real tough thing, to what's enough of a surprise and what's going to ruin the song.
Exactly. What's too much to annoy you, because this sometimes happens as well, that I get for example, Opeth is maybe an exception, but I don't like progressive rock or metal, because they change every 3 seconds, the tempo changes, and 7/8 and whatever, and it's kind of like, this is not music I enjoy. I mean, I get it. You would have to sit down and really focus on it and really listen to it, but it's kind of, I still don't enjoy it, because it's for me, it often derails into just showing off. Look what I can do on the guitar. Look what I can do on the drums. Look how fast I can change, how fast I can do this and that. Or in the metal or grindcore scene, the blast beats and double bass stuff is kind of like, okay, if you play it so fast that it's just a brrrr all the time, then I don't see anything anymore. It would be cooler if you brrrr, if you make rhythm with it, not just a flat surface of something, I can hear that you are really good because you can do this and this, really, you get my point, It's kind of, if it's just technique, it doesn't mean anything if a technique is not inspired, what's the name of a guy who's really, I forgot his name. Anyway, there is one guy who really plays around with a lot of different things, but he is inspired, and there I can even enjoy the outlandish stuff he's done. Sorry, I forgot his name, but he had long hair in the past, and now he has a bald head. He's anyway, I'm sure you know him.
He's a drummer.
No, he's a guitar player.
Devin Townsend.
Singer. Devin Townsend, exactly.
Devin
Townsend.
Devin Townsend.
Exactly. Oh. And this is for me. This is an example where it works, because I don't like his music, but I like his style. You get what I mean? It's kind of like his stuff is great, but I cannot listen to it often because it's so demanding and all over the place, but really cool. And I like him, and he's a cool person as well, So that's also for him.
I just have to throw in there, depending on what you've heard by him, he was in a band called Strapping Young Lad. I don't know if you. Mm-hmm. Their album City is just so. It's kind of like the perfect mix. It's not. It's probably definitely less epic than what he's been doing lately, and I think it came out in like '97. So it's definitely, goes back a ways. But for me, that's like some of the most perfect. If I need to get pumped up, if I'm going to the gym or I'm gonna, like that is like his screams. I don't know how. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how he manipulates his voice the way he does. Sometimes I'm just like, anyway, it just, yeah. But yet he's one of those guys who he's got acoustic, laid back albums that sound like.
Exactly. And here I just wanted to give him as a perfect example. I don't like most of his music, but I really appreciate it, and I really get it that it's cool stuff. And if I'm in the right mind and I really want to, I can enjoy it. But most of the time it's too much for me. But for him, it's kind of, I take it from him that he doesn't want to show off. If you have a young band and then they're I told you, I think maybe last time, I don't like the growling because most of the time it's just hiding that the singer cannot sing, and they just go formulaic and do whatever one does and play a lot of Brock so that they can show off their skills and what they can do and look at me kind of thing. And it's kind of, if it suits the song, that's maybe the bridge back to Townsend. If it suits the song, if it really needs to be there in order to make the song complete, fine. But if you just throw it in to show how well you're doing, I played once in a band where a guy really played a 5-minute solo. And he was one of the best guitar players I ever played with, but people would leave. And I guess this is kind of like, it's cool to have good guys, but if their ego takes over and they just want to show off, then it's kind of like when it doesn't come from the right place, That's if it suits the song, if it's right for the moment, or then yes, do it, but don't do it because you just want to look at me, Anyway. What I wanted to ask you before was like, my main advice I can give you, and you already heard this from me before, is basically do what you feel, what is right for you, and like you just explained, with a stumbling forward kind of thing, it's kind of doing things and doing it better next time and stuff. It's absolutely correct, and there's nothing you should be embarrassed about, because the first songs are really great. Trust me, I heard much worse. But what I really wanna say again and again is, do what you really feel you wanna do, and only do things when you are inspired. Because I guess we are both musicians. And we both can sit down and write a song. If I can take the guitar and 4 chords and I string you something together, and I'm pretty sure you can do it even better and faster and whatever. But no, this is not fishing for compliment or giving you. I know you can do it. I mean, I don't want to degrade it, but almost everyone who knows a little bit of music can do it. But this doesn't mean anything if it's not inspired, because you don't need 20 chords to make a good song. Sometimes 2 are enough if you just have a right feeling. I don't know if I told you this last time. Sometimes it's the space between the notes, I call it. For me, this is kind of a meta ether kind of thing that you can feel more to the song. Sometimes when I hear an acoustic song, I can hear the violins in my head, because like violin from this, not violins from.
Oh no.
um, the orchestral things. I can hear the orchestral score, and this is for me this is kind of for me how you can decipher a good song when it works with a big orchestral score or just with an acoustic guitar, or very simplistic. If it's still a good song and you can hold it together with your voice and demand the attention of a people, or it's not boring to listen to, then it's a good song. And then the rest is just staffage. The rest is just making it pretty, making it in this color or that color. Stuffing it out a little bit, to give it more punch or whatever. But you get my point. The gist of a song is the important thing, and this can be minimalistic synth pop or very over orchestral melodic metal. And it's the same for me, kind of. You get what I mean? If you break it down to the parts, to the essence. The essence is maybe the right word. It's maybe very metaphysical what I'm telling you here, but this is really what I think. That I can, maybe I'm very arrogant saying this, but sometimes I can hear if somebody really felt something as he was doing the song, or if it's just strung together because it's cool, and it can be cool both ways. But the metaphysical, the inspired song is always a little bit more, even if the quality is less, because this happens sometimes too. That I remember one song I got from a band, and it was very bad recorded, but it sounded really good. I mean, the music was really good, so I still played it. And you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And I was going to say, one of the things that made me think of, too, is that genuine feeling in music is, that's kind of the whole point of music, I think. When you break it down, it's the connection. It's you've captured a feeling and a mood in song form, and then when someone hears it, they can they feel that as well. And I think personally, just when I feel like some of the things that have impacted me the most in my life, are the hardest to write about, which is kind of ironic. You almost you'd think it would be built in, if you're a musical person and then you experience something that makes you feel deep feelings, you would just kind of think that, of course you can turn that into a song. Sometimes, historically, for me, that's been the hardest thing to do.
I'm completely with you, because they are so impactful for you that you don't take it easily. You want to give it justice, and you play a lot of pop songs and pop rock songs in your Gary the Band, so that's why they kind of you don't want a lightweight song. It can be a pop song, but you want the deep level in it, and I guess this is for you a little bit harder, because so much other songs, and this is kind of, you are the blocking point here in my point of view. I'm just giving you my point of view, of course, that you are you want this so special that it's really hard for you to put it right, as somebody who doesn't know much and only know 3 chords on the guitar will have it easier to express it, because he just knows the 3 chords and he can only play these, and they do it with the 3 chords. You get what I mean? You are now, you have a feeling, and you are so very well versed in your musical abilities that it's kind of harder for you to express it. So you are the gatekeeper of your own thoughts or expressions.
Yeah, I think there is a death by too many choices, or paralysis by analysis is a saying we have here.
Okay.
Which essentially just means you're overthinking everything to death, and it's something we touched on last time as well. I think I said when I was younger, I played in a metal band, and we just wanted to put anything out. Of course, on our minds, we're the best, so confidence level is 11 out of 10, skill level is 2 out of 10. And it's so much easier just to push things out that way because you don't once you know too much and then you're just like, well,
that's your and I like this too, don't get me wrong, sometimes like I just bashed on the singers who cannot sing and the overconfident. This is cool and do it, exactly, do it and you're only once young, go for it, play in a punk band and just have fun and think you are changing the world and whatever. This is exactly what you should do, and it's so much fun. But yeah, once you know a little bit more, then you kind of want to, I think, I'm just coming back to my point. I think you want to do the special things that influenced you very special. And as you know, so many, death by too many choices. So in a way, I would suggest to kind of cleanse yourself a little bit and just let it happen, just take your acoustic guitar and just think like, I don't know if it's really possible because it's impossible to strip away all the things but and as you are living from music, because I would suggest, taking a break from music for a few weeks. You cannot do that. You always have to continue on. So, but this would be kind of my approach to it, kind of get out of it for a little bit, take a walk in the woods and just let your mind wander, and then take the guitar and just make a little campfire or something and just, let it happen. Let it really silly singer-songwriter thing, and then you will find it. You will find some notes and stuff, and that's what I think would work for me. I don't know if it, like I said, I know you're living from music. It's almost impossible for you to or your dog is not happy.
Sorry, yeah. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, they get really excited about a lot of things. Usually, my girlfriend works from home, and usually they're in her office with her. But they must have gotten a little break, and they're they're just saying hi. Sorry about that. Should be over soon. But yeah, and honestly, I kind of just got done with probably about a week and a half of giving the songs I have been working on a break. It's ironically, I was coming back from a gig a couple weeks ago, and my vehicle broke down on like the major interstate here, and so my truck's been in the shop for like 2 weeks now. I've been using my girlfriend's car to get to gigs, and a lot of that time I would spend in the car or in my vehicle going to gigs. I'd kind of listen to what I worked on and try to get ideas. And with her car, I can't get the Bluetooth to work right and whatever. So it's been kind of like, I'm just gonna wait a little bit. And even in my little studio here, I've been trying to do other things. I've got some guitar amps here and a cab. I was making more guitar cab impulse responses. I don't know if you know what that is, but you guys use those. And it was just fun to do something creative that's just, I don't have to think songwriting wise. I just think from an audio engineering standpoint. So it might not be a walk in the woods, which would be great. Probably have to wait till the end of summer before I can really get out and do something like relaxing like that. But even just changing it up and just taking the approach of like, if you spend too much time and attention, you can't, you get lost. You can't see the forest from the trees, that kind of thing. And I think that's a really good advice from you. Is just sometimes you have to change it up. Otherwise,
or just let it rest a little bit. Like, I mean, in a way, it's good that you have to use the car from your girlfriend because otherwise you would never, you're always entrenched in music because you're going to the gig, then you're going to play music, and you might think about, because I'm pretty sure you're so professional now that you don't have to really think about the music you're playing anymore so much. It's not automatic. You're not a robot. I got that, but it's not. And I guess you're still in the moment and feel it, and you do a nice show. I'm pretty sure about it, but you know what I mean. You played the song 300 times or something. It's not like you really have to think about it. Now comes this chord and this, this line or this line,
Yeah.
and whatever. So in the time, this kind of gives you to think about. Oh, in my song, I can blah. This, you have things to think about, and as you are always in music, it's kind of tough to get out of it, maybe just even cook some nice dinner with your girlfriend, and you don't listen to music, just chat about whatever, or I don't know. But obviously, and this is you already got my point, and you are very aware of it, that you're kind of too entrenched sometimes, and you need to kind of get space between you and the stuff, because otherwise you're not, you cannot hear it with fresh ears anymore.
Definitely. And even, I'm not sure if it's the same way for you. I think growing up listening to music all the time and it being such a huge thing for me on such a deep level, sometimes I just want to listen to a podcast in the car. I just want to do, something totally different. But I do think when I do listen to music, though, it's interesting the things that do kind of grab me. I hate to keep bringing up other bands, but are you familiar with Ulver from Norway?
Maybe.
Okay, they've been around for a long time. They started off as a black metal band, and their last two albums have been almost like, well, I don't want to say the whole albums have been pop necessarily, but basically like synth pop type things. I mean, I think you would like their last two albums. I love some of the stuff they've done. But they're one of those bands where they don't really have a genre overall. Like I said, they started off as black metal, and then they do electronic stuff.
Avatar? No.
No, Ulver. It's Ulver. Ulver. They're
I don't know him. No.
Okay, I would love to hear what you think of their music. Specifically, the last two albums. Those are two of my favorites. But they've done music for soundtracks and things, I know, and they're very not that they don't have some standard format here and there, but like to me, they're just very artistic, very creative. They're like the I don't know if I'd say the pinnacle, but like maybe they are in my mind, like the pinnacle of like artistically creative. They don't even they clearly just do what they want to do, and I feel like they do it really well. In terms of capturing moods and things, I'm blown away by them. So I'd love to hear what you think of them.
Okay, I will check them out. I've just looked them up, and I'm gonna check them out. They look nice, From what you describe, it sounds to me a little bit like Paradise Lost or something, where we started out really heavy and then became pop and rock and whatever we are doing now, and I really like that, But maybe let's bring it back to you, because because I'm thinking if we take Ulver, even if I don't know them, what I saw so far is we have also a Wikipedia entry and stuff. So they're an accomplished band. They have been around for a while, and for them it's easy to do that. To kind of toying around with things. With you as a in this regard as an emergent artist, it's a little bit tougher. And for me, basically, I see two approaches, and I think one I told you already last time is the guy, is also a friend of mine from Slovenia, who's Neurowolf, and he has three different projects. He has Neurotech, Neurowolf, and the third one I forgot. And one is just ambience trance music. Then he has this kind of techno metal thing, but I like the most, and another one, which I forgot because I'm not. But he really kind of works half a year on this, half a year on that, half a year on this, and he just works on one of her projects continuously, and when he finishes and makes an album, and then he goes on to the next one. And I talked with him twice already, and whenever he has because I was like, can you be so dedicated to just one thing? Because I'm pretty sure you have thoughts about, oh, now I want to do this metal thing. He writes it down or he records it and puts it later for when he's in the metal project, when he has the metal project head on. So this is one thing I could think of, that you kind of split your personality basically, and you have a pop Brian Matteson, a metal and industrial or whatever you want, or experimental. So it's easier because we might talk about it. You have to kind of market yourself a little bit. And if you're all over the place, it's hard for people to kind of pinpoint you. Once you have a special, a status like Devin Townsend or Alva, I don't know yet, it's easy, for them. It's, the new Alva sounds more like pop, they're inspired by Depeche Mode or whatever. And it's cool, but people would still listen to it. But with Brian Matteson, it's kind of like, one song is like Depeche Mode and the next one is like Opeth, and then the third one is like Bruce Springsteen. People will not get it. So this is one advice, by the way, because we're talking from musician to musician here. I'm also all over the place with my music. And this was one advice I got from a friend of mine, because in the beginning I was like, oh yeah, let's put a singer-songwriter song, a metal song, and a pop song all on one thing, because I love Fate No More, and for me was crossover. This was a revelation. Oh, you can do this all in one song or on one album, different kind of music and stuff. And yeah, you could, but if you are new and people find one song from you, and then we listen to the next one and say, oh, but I came here because I liked the pop Brian Matteson. And then we hear the Opeth Brian Matteson. Fuck, this is not what I want. You're gone. So
yeah.
My suggestion to you would be kind of either, keep one label, but do an EP, a pop EP, kind of group the fitting songs together, and you can always have a crossover kind of thing. I don't know, where you do a pop metal thing or something, but you don't. What I really don't want you to do is kind of to shut off certain things. If you have an idea and it doesn't fit in this category, then just make a new category for because everything is cool. And just hypothetically, once you get discovered and people will, oh, look how great this guy is, he can do this and he can do that, before that happens, what is this for an idiot? He's playing around there, and what is he? But once you get there, just take David Bowie or something, then it's cool to be always, he's always evolving and doing something new, But if you're a nobody, then it's like, what is he doing? I like this song, but this song is shit and whatever, You get my point? So you can either do this under one umbrella, but with different EPs, or albums even, if you have so many songs, or like the guy from Slovenia, Neurotech, you have a name for each project. This is also possible. This is something I couldn't understand in the past, and when I stop rambling and let you talk,
it's okay.
That there were these kind of DJs who did this techno stuff, and then they were more ambient and then more trance and stuff, and they were always with different names under different labels and stuff, so that they can do different things, and they're not bogged down by expectations, because they're under, or like writing under a pseudonym, that you're kind of like Stephen King did with Richard Bachman, Bachman. Yeah. I don't know how you would say it, but in English, in German it's Bachmann. you get my point, that you kind of, that you keep your freedom. And then, in a way, you would have even a better shot, because this is something we might also talk about now, of getting a label or getting, a professional backing or something that you kind of I don't know, you go to Nuclear Blast with your metal stuff, and then you go to a pop or if you want to make me happy, a goth label with your gothic rock stuff, and you get my point. In a way, if you keep it separated, you have, instead of one shot, you have 4 shots. If you make pop, metal, singer-songwriter, and gothic rock, of course. But this is something, I don't know if you really want to think about it, but maybe you do, because music is your life already anyway, and I guess you're getting now, without bashing Gary the band, I don't know Gary the band, and it's great that you have it, but it's kind of, you want to put on your own stamp, and that's absolutely fine, and that's absolutely right, and you are a great musician, and I'm really looking forward to hear your new songs. Anyway, now I'm stopping. This is my main suggestion to you for keeping the maximum of creativity, as I see it.
Yeah, and I'm on board with that train of thought. Even when I used to listen to bands, back in my teenage metalhead days, but that was all I would listen to. Those bands would have side projects, because it's different enough. Even if it was still heavy metal or essentially metal, it would be different enough that like this is a different project. And I always liked that. I always thought it made it seem professional, just to say like we're giving this its own space to exist because it needs it. It's so good. It needs, it needs that. And I love that idea. For me, we talked a little bit last time about when you're a one-man operation, it's kind of ridiculous how many hats you have to wear at this point. A writer, performer, engineer, producer, marketing team. You're basically your own label. You have to do everything, and so like unfortunately, until I make more friends or something, I can only put so much into each camp, right? And so, obviously, I want to be better at write better songs. I have to be able to perform them well. That's my job, if anything. Sometimes I get stuck on the stupidest things, like, well, what am I going to call this project? What's the name of my pop project? What's the name of my metal project? And then I'll sit there spending way too much time and energy thinking of a name. And it sounds ridiculous to say it, but that's a lot of times what prevents me from just going ahead and doing that. And I thought by so just coming from a no one knows who I am on a large scale, trying to release things, professionally, I thought I'm going to get one of the distribution services. We have DistroKid I signed up for, and just get me out there. And I figured maybe the best first thing to do is just use my name because it hasn't been taken. That was the other thing. I'm sitting there coming up with like, okay, here's a cool creative name. Here's something. Took me a while to come up with, and everything has been taken. Like everything I come up with, I'm like, someone's had that for 10 years.
I know exactly what you're talking. It's really tough. If you think about band names like Slayer or something, or Death or Megadeth, they had it quite easy back then. Today we have these bands like Parkway Drive or Bring Me the Horizon and stuff, where you have to use a whole sentence to get it. And actually before we started talking today, I was like, let's check if he's already out there. I was looking for your name on Spotify and I couldn't find it yet. So you haven't released it yet. But is it there?
Out there.
Is it there?
It should be.
Did I write your name wrong? Let me check.
I don't want to make you look bad in front of your audience here, but
I think Brian.
Yeah, because
Matteson.
and because I did just release the one song so far. Just to part of the reason I really wanted to do it was
what's the name of the song?
Hardwired, and I don't know if this is gonna flip it backwards here, but I've got it on my. on my phone here.
I have it. I found you.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Brian Matteson. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Once on ours, four monthly listeners. Cool.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
surprised.
you're
I'm
right
like,
there. I got you. I
four
got
more
you.
than I expected.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Two followers and 4 monthly listeners. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I got
starting
you.
from the
Cool.
bottom right there. Well,
Okay.
thank you. But I see, and that's why I like what you said about maybe just release different EPs, or even in the early going here, I was thinking singles. Just here's a single. This one's kind of hard rock. Next one will be something else,
Mm.
and just to get the ball moving. Because, like I said, I can spend so much time in my own head trying to be creative and not without getting the ball moving.
Mm.
And if you do that, it's great, waiting till, basically what I've been doing is waiting till I'm getting real close to 40 here to actually release something, which is it's cool because I've built up skill sets. So whatever I release will be better than it would have been when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
However, if no one hears it, that defeats the purpose. So you have to have a certain amount of, like you said, pushing forward. Go out there and just do whatever you're doing. If you're playing a crazy punk band and you're, start yesterday if you can. But then also make sure that you're evolving while you do it. And I think for me, it was I had to do hey, I exist. I had to get that out there. And then it's a little more freeing and open to do more.
It's absolutely, exactly. And now things can happen because now people can find you, people can listen to you. And the only issue, okay, I have two things I want to say. First of all, Brian Matteson, perfect. Because this is now the umbrella term and you can put everything under it. Don't get it wrong, but it's like Devin Townsend. If you look at Devin Townsend, there is everything there, from opera to acoustic, whatever, just guitar shredding or just, funny little bits he does. So that's perfect. So you're Devin Townsend now. Brian Matteson, nobody knows who you are. That's good because you kind of fill it now with the meaning of it. And you already, I just, glanced over your biography. It's about, you're a chameleon, you're everywhere and this is good. You can fill it now. Or maybe let's talk about this because this is a little bit more specific. You said now with singles, and that's absolutely fine. And we are in the world of Spotify, so yeah, people want singles. So what is your release schedule? And also my personal problem here is now that the singles might be very different, and somebody comes because of a hardwired single and then hears a pop song. And, I don't overestimate the attention span of the people that they're going to read your biography and say, oh, he's a chameleon. That's why I came for the metal song. Let's listen to the pop song because, yeah, he kind of want to spread his wings and stuff. Nobody's doing that. So, or very, very unlikely. What's your release schedule? How do you wanna do it?
Basically, so one of the things I remember, a wise thing my friend Tobias once said was that it might take
the sage from Germany.
Yes. Legend has
listen
it.
to him. In his cave, he's sitting there.
That's right. From the holy mountain. He said, it might take a year for you to kind of figure it out, and to try some things out and see where you end up. And for me, it was it may not be, if, maybe 20 years from now, I'll look back and be like, oh, I should have done it this way. This would have made a lot more sense. But I'd rather try to, if my thing is I'm finding my voice, I'd almost rather do that in a little bit more of a public forum, because I think I'm bound to hopefully collect a couple fans along the way before I really decide here's what I really want to do, or the direction or directions I want to go in. So I'm hoping that if people really like a song or two here and there, even if they're different genres, that once I kind of say, all right, here's a new project from Brian Matteson, and it's going to be in this general direction, hopefully those people, or at least some of them who have heard what I've done, will say, oh, cool, I want to follow this. I want to see where this goes. I think it's kind of an imperfect thing, because it's like I have to do the thing for me, which is start moving. And so if I'm going to move, I want to at least move where I'm somewhat visible, even if it's not the term that I want to be known as. I don't really want to be known as my name. Because it doesn't say anything about the music. It's just the name I was given when I was born. When you come up with a project name, it should kind of have an atmosphere to it that, like, ooh, I can almost hear it before I listen to it.
So yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I don't. I mean, so you want to put it out, and you're just using your name because you might later kind of choose a project name that's more fitting for the pop project or for the metal project or something. So you just start with Brian Matteson, because then you have a ball rolling, and later on you get to a point where you kind of group them into a project.
That was my thinking.
Okay.
I'm not. I suppose, like, I don't know for sure. That is just kind of how I'm thinking of it. Like, instead of sitting here and taking a lot of time to try to think of, like, what the project is or what the name is, I'd like to create. And then once I can look at it and say, here's what I've got, kind of put the puzzle pieces together, if that makes sense.
No, I got it now. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. If I just end up being Brian Matteson, I guess it's okay with me. I just always, it sort of goes back to you can only put so much energy and time into certain things. And the thing I want to put my energy and time into is making great songs. More than I wanted to be thinking about, because the name gets into marketing more and things like that, more of the logical business brain. And I really I just want to be creative and do that part and make sure I have something good to offer, or at least, kind of find my voice that way, if that makes sense. And maybe, I mean, I'm open to opinions on that too. That was just this is the quickest and easiest way if I just use my name. No one's taken that yet. Unlike every other thing I come up with, no one's taken Brian Matteson as an artist name yet. So for me, it was kind of the easiest way to get going.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so what I gather now is kind of you're going to use your name and you're going to put out all your singles under Brian Matteson, and maybe once later in a year or two, you will look at all what you put out and then see, okay, this goes nicely in the pop realm and this goes nicely in the metal thing, and then you kind of group them together, or kind of take out a project of Brian Matteson and make it its own named project, and then for future music or something. Do you think about that? Because there is no, once again, there is no right or wrong, and I'm absolutely with you. You did something and it's out there. That's already, the first step has been done. But I see the problem that you will be stuck with Brian Matteson, and that's fine. It's not a bad thing. It's your name, you will always get it. But when you have this, like, Brian Matteson band, or Brian Matteson playing his metal hits, or Brian Matteson the pop guy. But by the way, just to let you know, there is a German band. They're called Deine Lakaien. They're doing dark wave. You might have never heard of them, but they're quite big here in Germany. And we have this thing where they it's a duo, and sometimes we make a concert with a whole orchestra, and it's big and grunge. And sometimes we make a concert with just the guy who sings and the other guy plays the piano. Just the piano, nothing else. And I don't know if they're still doing it, but in the past it was like you never knew where you would go to. You know, it's kind of, you never know if you got the full orchestra or if you just got the piano version. And it's cool. But what I'm saying is kind of like, I personally see a little bit trouble once you will perform live. Because then it's kind of Brian Matteson, who plays pop music, singer-songwriter, gothic rock, of course, and metal, so is playing live. Okay, he's playing live. So what is he playing? You know, is he playing all of it together? Or is he, you know, you could do this as well, you know, or you can have a metal version of your pop song or a pop version of your metal song or what. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is, you get my drift here. This is kind of, it will be tougher to, and I also wanted to say something to the performing part, because maybe from my point of view, I would personally, if I would be in your shoes, not worrying about the performance at the moment. Just make the music, because first of all, you have one song out, and this means you're not performing it anyway, you know, or you might just slip it into Gary the band and just, you know, for fun, you know, when all the wedding guests are drunk and they don't care anymore, when you play Hardwired from Brian Matteson, and then you can test your material. So I would, because you already said, you know, you have all these hats on and you have to think of marketing and you have to think of this and that. Don't think about performance, because first build your catalog, basically. That's what I would suggest now. Don't think about performing stuff and how you would do it and blah, blah, blah. Just do it for now. You know, build your pop songs, build your rock songs, and you know, once you have 10 of each, then you can maybe think about performing, because then it would be viable, and then you can, you know, play. I guess I don't have to tell you. You find another band to play with, or, you know, headline, co-line a gig or something, and then you know enough musicians to help you out to do it live or whatever, or you have some backing track, whatever. You know, this is for a later stage of your career or of your starting your own project, for me, at least from my point of view, because this is not relevant at the moment. You know, nobody is, and I don't mean it as a bad way. Nobody is waiting for you. Nobody is there and, oh, I want to see Brian Matteson. I pay premium dollar for it to see it now. Maybe in 2 years, 3 years or something, you should think about it. But until then, just focus on making music, putting it out, and then, you know, I mean, we will stay in touch. So then we can discuss your next strategy moves of what to do. Yeah,
and I haven't even thought about playing live yet at all.
Okay, good.
With originals, and I completely agree. I just want to create content. Both to have a catalog so that I could play live, but also just to figure out what I sound like, you know, and that just goes back to finding your voice as an artist kind of thing. And it's like, sometimes you don't know what's going to come out until you start writing, you know, and, it's like, I you know, with you having the same thing, it's like my brain is too all over the place with what I enjoy listening to. So what I enjoy creating is kind of the same thing. But just out of curiosity, so or just to kind of wrap up the name thing, you know, it's funny because saying Devin Townsend, it's like, I guess I do think of Devin Townsend as just Devin Townsend now, but you know, for me, I became familiar with him because of Strapping Young Lad, which was his big first breakout band that he was in. So I guess what I'm kind of trying to do is a reverse Devin Townsend, where I'm Brian Matteson and then I become this project, or, you know, these other projects.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think if you were in my shoes, do you think there is a better way to do it? starting out? Do you think it is better to have the project names?
As from my feeling, I would say yes, because
Okay.
from my personal experience, I was like you on a much worse scale because my musical abilities are not up to par with you, and I'm not fishing for compliments. I know that I'm not good, but I put out a lot of bullshit stuff. I found some old demos and I put them out, just me on the acoustic guitar, which was not in tune and whatever. And it's really silly, stupid what I put out, but I left it there. And but the thing is, as I'm also an unknown artist, and if some people look at my catalog now, they find a lot of different things. So I realized that I was focusing more on. I'm still having two things, kind of. It's industrial metal and gothic rock. This is kind of the things I like most. But for me, they're one kind of thing. But so you have now the dichotomy. You have two things on my musical channel, and I have also this breakout project with a guy from Norway where I do just industrial metal. So if I could do it again, I would kind of label it differently, because then it's easier for people to track you, and if people really like you and like all the different kind of Brian Mattesons you will put out, then you have fans all over the place, but it is, from my experience, people are really more this or that, or they are not, people are all, 360 degree, nobody is just only a metal fan or this and that. But if they look for specific music, they want this music, and if you
Yeah.
and when they go to Prime, okay, the first no, this, and then they stop after 2 or 3 songs, and then the fourth one might be exactly what we're looking for. You get my point? This is a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't want to make it too easy for the. You touched on this a little bit beforehand. That the Spotify, you have to kind of you have to write songs for Spotify, and I read about this and heard about what you have to do. You have to start with a chorus. You have to hook them in right away. After 30 seconds and stuff. Don't do that. Do the music you want to do. Be true to yourself. But still, what I mean is, don't pamper the listener. You don't give him some credit to get it. But as you are, and don't get it wrong, as you are a nobody right now, it's really tough for somebody to judge you. Because take it from me as a radio DJ, everybody. I read so many stuff, and we're full of shit, and I know you are not, but your biography is similar to a lot of other people, and if I just, you get my point, it's not easy to stand out. So in a way, also for later on, for finding a home in playlists and stuff, it would be easier if you can group it a little bit. I get it that for example, my songs, like I have pop songs and gothic and whatever, they're in different playlists now, and some is doing well there and there and there, but I'm all over the place, and it's not really helping your brand. Let's put it this way. Really
Yeah.
talking that is. Once you are on the level of what's Alva and stuff, that's fine, because you already have it, but we worked their way up with their death metal or whatever, black metal, where they come from. I don't know. You said earlier,
Yeah.
and we had this loyal fan base, and then the cloud, and now we can kind of play around with it. But for you, you have to get to the Olymp first. I personally, to to this very simple question with a lot of words, I'm saying my suggestion would be to kind of put it in different categories right away. You still can change it later, maybe, but I get your point now. Now it's all Brian Matteson, and then later on you group it. But it's kind of, there's always, you have only one shot of a first impression kind of thing, and I'm happy to sit down with you and do some spitballing about band names or project names, how you could call things. I'm good at this. I really like to
That's perfect.
to think, and not saying that I'm really perfect, but if you look for Megalmodash, this is the name of my project, you only find me, because Megalmodash is a Hungarian word which is written wrong. So, and that's the perfect thing, because if you look it up, you only find me. You find videos, you find pictures, you find music, only me, because this is a unique word that nobody else has. And not to intrude too much, but Brian Matteson might be more than one out there.
Yeah, there's a Dr. Brian Matteson somewhere, I know. So
for me, I think I would prefer, or I would suggest the strategy to kind of really group it a little bit, and in different categories, and find really unique names. This will be very tough, trust me, but not impossible. And then it's easier to fill, because one little thing, and this, don't get wrong, but I got to know a lot of underground artists, and whenever I read the name of an artist as the project name or something, I'm kind of already, I put you a peg down, because it's kind of like, this is just my opinion, because when they didn't even, in a bad way, you could say, they didn't even bother to find a name for the project, because this is me, Jimmy Nashville, the guitar guy, and stuff, whatever. I don't say that it's you, I mean, it's cool that Brian Matteson is not taken, but it's kind of like, it's, Brian Matteson, the rock star. This is not kind of. I would. Me personally, to end this now, and then I'll let you talk again, I would kind of find different names for the different things you want to put out. But that's just me, and you don't have to take my advice, and I will love you regardless.
I appreciate that. I mean, no, I honestly, a lot of times I'm at my most creative when I'm laying in bed trying to go to sleep. That's when I come up with like my best lyrics a lot of times, things like that. And I would sit there and try to think of a name for a project, or for just, even if I even thought, like, even if I can't come up with a project name, but just an umbrella term for almost like a company, like a production house, like, whatever. And every time I come up with something, it's like, that's taken. And I'm because I do the same thing. When I see, the so-and-so band, I'm just like, that doesn't tell me anything. It's like, and, Opeth is another good example too. It's like their band name is a word that I don't think exists. I guess I'm not positive. I thought I remember looking that up, but like exactly what you've done is find a word that's not a word. So it's unique, but it still has it still has like a tone to it, and using like even, and I can see in the background with the shirt. Is that a shirt you have hanging up there? And you have the skull and there's artwork. It's like a logo and a name, right? Like it tells me. I mean, not that I want to. Yeah, exactly. And that, see, that's perfect. That's perfect. And it has what I would probably consider a little bit of a gothic thing, right? You got the skull.
Yeah, this is what I wanted. I mean,
yeah.
I was scolded by my friend who also does my artwork, because this is not from him. That oh yeah, another skull. How creative. And you could say, oh yeah, you're right. It's just a skull, and this is not the in the Gothic area, in the Gothic bubble. This is kind of like standard, kind of. Nobody cares about this anymore. And I was playing in a grindcore band. Then there's a lot of really bad imaginary and stuff. It's kind of like they gross you out on purpose, and then it's kind of getting stale, because it's like, oh yeah, another gross out band, another gross out shirt or whatever. Yeah, a dead person. Okay, got it. Yeah. So.
But the thing you can at least say, I mean, if say it was the same grindcore band with the same shock value, but it was called Brian Matteson, it would still maybe that'd be funny.
That would be funny. That would be actually funny. This would be kind of, then it would be unexpected. Like, and maybe even when you go on stage, you would have suits and stuff, and like, we are the Brian Matteson band. Pig squealing and all this stuff. This would be cool, But of course, grindcore is very niche. Don't do grindcore. This is you won't get far.
Yeah, no. I don't think that's my calling. But but I really want to, and it's good to hear this. I mean, that's the other problem with being a one man army is that. You don't have as many people to bounce ideas off of, when everything's coming out of your own head. At least when let's say you have two people in a project, you can sit down, you can have a conversation, and through an organic, natural string of words, something comes out and you're like, ooh, what about this? What about that? Mm-hmm. But if you're just thinking in your own head, it's a little stale. Like, what's a name for a thing?
But you could talk with your girlfriend. I mean, you could for just the names. I mean, I get it. The music maybe not, but just for the names, you could use her as a bouncing board. Kind of just throwing out things. And what do you think? And or I have a chalkboard in the kitchen, and sometimes when I have an idea, I just write things down on the chalkboard, and if it's still good in a few weeks, then you can expand it or something. And like I said, maybe once we're done with the talk, I just give you some names, and we start finding if you want to. I'm just telling you my idea would be. I would prefer it to, or I think it, like also if you think about it for later, if you want to build something, and then you can go to a pop label with your pop songs, and you can go to a metal label with your metal songs, and it will be easy for them to do that. And there's already, they find it under the right, as much as I hate this categorizing in genre, kind of putting it in boxes and stuff. Sometimes you need it, as a DJ. If for me the worst kind of thing is not that you are doing that, but when I get experimental music, because this doesn't mean anything. Experimental music is everything and nothing. It's a guy putting on a keyboard and holding down one note and just twiddling the knobs and maybe having some distorted vocals over it. That's experimental. Or it can be really, really well thought of soundscapes and stuff. But this is kind of doesn't mean anything. So I'm always wary of it. Not that you are doing it, but when I hear, when you send me something, and this is, I don't know, I don't have a name right now, with the Snails of Doom, and it's Gothic metal, and then okay, I got it, or doom metal or whatever. You get my point. I then it's at least something, or you get this category like sounds like, Sometimes I'm amazed that some people think they sound like.
Yeah.
There's a category like, oh, you sound like Muse. Well, yeah, you use a guitar. That's maybe a similarity. But besides that, not much. Anyway, yeah, I think for you also thinking about getting into more professional things later on, it would be better to kind of categorize it.
Yeah, and I pretty much completely agree. The only thing holding me back on that is just coming up with a name that doesn't feel rushed, that makes sense and feels good, So I've only got one song out, so I can still. There's certainly still time to
exactly. And I know DistroKid. You can take it off again and release it. So what I want to say is, but, this is. Let's take it, because now I'm on team Brian Matteson, because we're gonna find your names. Let's take it to our advantage, because let's we can flip the thing around, because nobody is waiting for you. Oh shit! Can you just talk something, because somebody is on the door here?
Oh yeah, of course.
So
yeah, I'm not sure what to say here. I guess it's the Brian Matteson hour now, so I'll have to figure out how to entertain here. But oh geez, I didn't think I was going to have to improv here.
Sorry, Brian. I'm back.
Oh, okay.
The neighbors came by and brought something for the bunny. We have
nice.
a little pet bunny. So,
I saw the pet bunny in one of your videos.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry for that. No, where were we?
You're on Team Brian Matteson, and you're gonna.
I'm on Team Brian Matteson now. Don't kick me off. I lost my train of thought. Shoot.
We're gonna. You can take songs off DistroKid, and you can you can
redistribute them exactly, and under another name, and yeah, I think this will be much easier. And then maybe once we're done with the talk, you can send me the names you already thought of, and I can expand on them, because what I'm good is kind of like thinking stupidly about things. I like I said in the beginning, I like wordplays. I like things. I will give you like 10 iterations of each, and then you can kind of build things. And now I remember what I want to say. The good thing is, and let's take it to our advantage, is nobody is waiting for you. This is our advantage, because we can worst case scenario is we come up with a name, and then in a few months we see this is not good, or still not right. We can still take it off and put on a new name or something, and I even would keep the Brian Matteson name, because here I would put in, if you have just some acoustic songs, like this is perfect for singer-songwriter, then Brian Matteson is the man, But if you have some some melodic metal or some pop, then it's kind of I would use another name, a specific project name. So you've done nothing wrong. You're just
I appreciate that. Yeah. And no, I had the exact same thought, which is if I've already got my name taken, then I want to keep it. But it fits with the genre of singer-songwriter way better than anything else. And I completely agree. A funny side note, another reason to have project names is like I've got a Facebook page, just Brian Matteson Music, right? And it's everything. It's pretty unfiltered. It's like I think I posted things about Gary the band playing. I posted my hard rock song Hardwired on there, and my grandma my 94-year-old grandma is on Facebook, and she left comments, like, on the Hardwired song. And it's just like, it almost makes me feel bad because I'm like, here's grandma trying to support me and leave a comment. And it was part of me just wants to be like, you don't have to do that. Like, this isn't for you. Like, this hard rock song isn't going to be what you want to hear from me. And that's okay. I can see my parents, they're a little more rocking, like more into the hard rock stuff. My grandma is just like, no, grandma, you don't have to do that. I'd rather, if she's going to follow Brian Matteson music, like, that's where I'm going to release the things that maybe grandma would like a little more. If I make, and that's the thing too, as an artistic person, I look at music and movies, theater, entertainment, this all the same way, which is, you can do whatever you want. It shouldn't be filtered or censored. So if I want to make in my brain, I might be a nice guy and I just want to live a normal life, but like, I might want to write a death metal song and just blast the listener's face off. But it doesn't mean I'm a violent person or anything. It just,
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I got to know a lot of musicians, and if you look behind them, I remember there was one story here. I forgot the name of a band, but it's blood, gore, blah, blah, whatever, and the singer is a teacher, but he uses a lot of fake blood on stage, and he got in trouble because he's kind of singing about sodomy and killing and raping and pillaging and whatever, and of course it's just an act, but it's kind of, he goes to school and the school children can find the stuff, and and he's the teacher, and so I got your point. You can kind of have your grindcore band, and grandma never knows about them. The Worms of Doom or something, and so yeah. But this is also, I think it seems like you're on board with the idea, because this also means you could kind of. What I really like is, and we always talk about authenticity and stuff, and this is important. But what I really like on these different things, I was an actor, or I'm an actor as well. It's kind of to put, you enhance a different side of your persona. And if you're the metal guy, you're the metal guy, and you just have being the, and then you're the Brian Matteson, and you just play very very thoughtful shoegaze rock or pop songs, and then you have the poppy stuff, and I like that, because you can. You're not. What I mean with that is, you're not lying. You're not pretending to be something that you are not. You're just enhancing a side of your persona, because nobody is only good or bad, or we are all multi-layered personas, and I really like that you have an outlet for all the different personas you are, and when you're a rock star, you're kind of like. Yeah, you're more, and that's fine, And this is exactly also. I think I did it last time already. I quote Lemmy a lot here. The people, they want the rock star and not the nice guy from the neighborhood, And you can do this when you're Brian Matteson and you're playing in a coffee shop and just nice acoustic stuff. When you are Brian Matteson, but when you do a rock show, people want rock, and we want this square-legged people and really pounding stuff, and this. I mean, you are a performer. I don't have to tell you that. This is kind of part of the act, and this is not pretending. It's still authentic, but you just visualize one part of you, and this is the. The tough guy part of you. Yeah, you see, I like to perform, so this is my kind of thing. So I'm absolutely on board with Brian Matteson. We get you some cool names.
All right. I appreciate that, and I like that. I to me, it makes a lot of sense. The having different personas and But I guess, I'm sure you have to sell it as that too. Anyway.
Exactly. And what I wanted to say is also, I'm also thinking about the next steps ahead, because when you have your own web page, we kind of, it's easy. I don't know how much you know about how web spaces work. You can have different names for one web space. So I would kind of have one website for you, this is, of course, you have to do it, but then your metal project will link to this, and this will link to that and stuff, and there will be undersides of it, but you will have one umbrella again, so kind of it converges all on one, but with different sections. So and that's a cool thing too.
Yeah, and that's I guess my question there is with the main page. I guess if I'm going to use Brian Matteson as my singer-songwriter name, essentially, I wouldn't want that to be my main page name, would I then? Or because that's what it is right now. It's just brianmatteson.com.
Okay.
But
maybe this we tackle offline, because
sure.
I have a few ideas how to do it, because I think there will be one site, and then there will be Brian Matteson. Then there will be metal medicine, and then there will be pop medicine, and then there will be whatever grindcore, and of course gothic rock medicine, and then you go to each one. Or we do it because I'm thinking a little bit cost effective here, because if you have a site for everyone, then it's a little bit more, when you have like 4 sites, it's possible, and you will have to buy the domains anyway for the singular projects to kind of converge on one site. But this is okay. This is getting more technical. This is something we first find the names, then see if we can get the domains, and then we can talk about the design of a website or how we want to do it. It's also, we can also have a single one for each. It depends on. I mean, the possibilities are where we just have to see if it's cost effective, because what I can tell you right out of the gate, nobody will go to your website. Because nobody knows you, but
yeah.
Okay. Maybe we talk. As we are talking about this, I still like that you will have a website. Of course, I'm a man of today, so I'm going to your Instagram and I'm going to your Twitter or wherever I can find you and can connect with you. But I'm always aware that this might be just temporarily. You are old enough that you still remember MySpace, and it was the thing.
Right.
You had a MySpace site, and then came Facebook, and then came this and that. I'm as stupid as it might be at the moment to have your own website where you have the own content and you own the domain. This might be stupid, but who knows what will happen, and then there will be a breakdown and Facebook will be off or whatever. I don't say it will happen, most likely not, but as with MySpace, nobody thought that MySpace will ever go away, because it's such a great site. You can have videos and music, and you can connect and chat with people. Great. And you know where it went. So that's why I know, me personally, I have a website for my radio and for my for Megalmodash, of course, and it's no traffic, nothing, but I still like to have it, because if anything breaks down, people can find you, and there's still something of you, because you might never need it. Maybe I'm stupid in doing that, because it costs X amount of money for the domain and stuff, but I still like to have like a backup, so because for me, all these Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and whatever, this is temporarily. It can go the next day, and nobody, you have no. If TikTok is gone, who can I sue for when it's gone? It's not mine to have. and with your website, it's still yours, even if nobody will look at it right now.
Yeah, and I agree too. One other potential bonus of having your own website is that if you are selling merch or anything like that, you get 100% if people do actually go to your website. I've got a friend or a couple friends out in California, and they've had a band out there for a long time. It's a husband and wife. I actually used to play with them, and they when I go to their websites, it's full of stuff. They got blogs, you can buy albums or song by song, you can buy shirts, all these things, and they play a lot of shows too, and they get people to sign up for the mailing list in person. They talk to people a lot, and I think if you're doing that kind of, I call it like grassroots outreach kind of stuff, you're going to get more people to your website. And if you do, and they buy things through your website, you're getting 100% of that profit, as opposed to if they buy it off of Amazon or Apple Music or something where maybe someone takes a cut. So I think there is that as well, especially if you're selling more than just your music. You probably reap some of that money back. So,
yeah,
anyway.
for me it's just like more like a backup, that it's not that you're not lost in space, because you never know what happens, and certain services are blocked in certain countries and stuff, so people can still find you, and there is something in the web from you, and anyway, I like, maybe I'm very old-fashioned, but this is fine, and you still talking about selling music, you could you could kind of have a EP or like how you say, a vinyl, for example, and then you can send it signed or something. This is, of course, first of all, you have to find a fan base and stuff, but it's possible for you to engage them there. So
yeah.
But you're a one-man army. Don't stretch yourself too thin.
Sure.
Let's start with the music, and then slowly get there.
Absolutely. I did have one other question I wanted to ask you, if possible, just about what is your take on in the era of streaming and Spotify and all that stuff? What is your take on somebody in my position who's just starting out? Do you think it's a clear best practice to not sell music right off the bat, have it available for free, or do you think it's better to showcase yourself as an established professional and charge for your music? Because and maybe it's different in Europe and things. Here, a lot of people say, you don't even bother charging for your music right off the bat. If you can get people to sign up for a mailing list, things like that, just to get your music heard more. Because once you put something like that behind a paywall, if no one knows who you are and you're charging money, it's going to be that fewer amount of people that actually pay for your music to hear it. Does that make sense? And do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, but I mean, in a way, once you're on Spotify, you're already putting it out for free in a way, because you get like 0.0001 per stream. So you're already, from my perception, you're already outside of a paywall. If and I guess DistroKid, you're on iTunes and Deezer and all these other platforms as well, because why wouldn't you? So to answer your question, I think first you should have a following. So I would subscribe to the thing that you get yourself heard, that you put your music out, because honestly, if you really wanna make money later on, this is kind of get a following and then play live, sell shirts on the merch stand and stuff, and do all this, because this is where, for my knowledge of today, where the money is. I mean, you're already living from that, and but this is because people will pay for a ticket for a good show and for a good for a good time out, for the entertaining night and stuff. And when I really like this guy, and so when they buy a T-shirt and they buy how you say, a hat or other things, merchandise basically. So this is where the money is. But this you get only if people know you and if people demand to play. For you have a little advantage that you already know how this is all done. I mean, the playing live part, and you know what gets into it, and you have maybe some roadies, and you have connections to sites where you can play, and other bands where you can play with, and you can have little concerts. Because from my perspective, this is where real money lies later on, that you have a bigger tour maybe, and you're slowly getting up and to bigger crowds. I talked with one band who's gonna open now for Ministry in November, and so this is, but we worked their way up, and they played with little bands, with mid-size, and this is just the way it is. But this is then where you can make money from it, and then you kind of, as I foresee your future, maybe if you stick with it, is that you slowly kind of reduce your time on Gary, and then focus more on the other projects and stuff, but and in the end, maybe you can live from the music you love to do, and maybe just put in some covers for the other projects you play. Then so yeah, my advice would be put it almost for free, because you get some money on iTunes and Google and wherever the music will appear. But this is, don't spend it all in one sitting. It's like, yeah. If you're lucky, you get like a 50 cents in the first few months or something. It will increase over time, but it's you won't be you need to be in the millions of streams to make a living out of it. That's and this will take a while.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's cool. I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on that, so I do appreciate that. I think it's one of those things where I think people understand where, if they want to hear something for free, like Spotify, they know they can get it there. And then if they want to help support someone that they like what they're doing, and they just, there's other ways they can buy the music and stuff too. But exactly, that makes sense,
And this, see, where comes in your website, where you can say, okay, a signed vinyl copy of this and that, or limited, pressing of and stuff, or this is a limited run of this shirt, or so. But this I would put much later, because you need to build up a following. But for you, it's kind of, I see that you have a, like we say in German, a foot in the door, because whenever you do a gig now with Gary the band, you can kind of say, oh, and I have this other project. If you kind of you can cross sell or cross promote things a little bit when it fits. I don't know about your bandmates, of course. I guess we don't like that. Oh, Brian, we are here as not as the Worms of Doom, or however whatever comes then. But you get my drift, and you will you have other promoters, and you have people who get you gigs anyway, and we will find a way. And I'm just give it as a taken thing that you make good music, so people will come back to it, and then we will talk about it and stuff. So, but like we said, first build your catalog, and for what I think it will be at least a year, maybe longer, that you have enough songs that you can think about performing. So don't one step after another. The good thing is, this is not a race. This is a marathon. We should kind of take your time and be happy with what you're doing and how you do it. And if it takes longer, it takes longer. Like, once again, we can flip it around. The good thing is nobody is waiting for you. This can be an advantage, because later on, when if you are signed to a label and then we're kind of like, okay, Brian, you haven't put out something in 2 years, so what do you think about? You're not Rammstein, who makes a album every 10 years or something. We want something, because otherwise you get out of a roster and stuff. So kind of use this time to build up your things, and then I also see you come out swinging, when you have already your 10 songs and you know how to perform them, and you know how that they are good enough, and you know this, once you play them live, you change them up a little bit, and then, like take Hardwired. We have the Hardwired version 2021 now, and in 3 years you played it so often live that you're like, okay, now I switch it around a little bit. There's 2025 Hardwired, re-released, remastered, and whatever, as Worms of Doom and Bam, kind of. You got it. So this is now we can start evolving, and I see you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. The only thing you lose, of course, is spending more time with your girlfriend or with your dogs, and because you will have to put in some work. You have to talk with people. There is one more project, not just Gary the band, but also you finding time for your music, and later on also for performing. Then you have to practice twice, basically, one for this and one for that. It's my advice would be here, kind of be careful with that. Don't stretch yourself too thin, because I realized this with myself. I had a little midlife crisis just recently, where I was like, oh, I need to do this and that, and so check yourself. But now I'm on your team, so I'm going to check on you, and see. Don't twiddle your thumbs. Don't do not anything. Don't take too much of your time. And I think you already did the right thing with releasing Hardwired. Like you said, if you never release something, then you don't get the ball rolling. So you got the ball rolling, and now don't wait for too long, because from what I know, you should kind of release something every 3 to 6 weeks or something, that you kind of exist on Spotify and all these other platforms. But don't get pressured into it. If you don't, then don't, I mean, But like you said, you have 5,000 songs on your hard drive, so there should be enough for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think so. And you did ask earlier about release schedules and things, and I'm kind of just trying to wrap my head around what is, when you said 3 to 6 weeks, I think with Spotify you can only do a release every month or so, but it could be a full album, it could be an EP, it could be a single. So even if I just released a single every month, which was kind of the rough goal, it's still 12 songs a year. That's still,
it's an album.
That's an album
in the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of where I'm coming from. I've got an acoustic kind of singer-songwriter-y song I'm working on, and that kind of came about because I was working on this other thing, which is more electronic pop kind of thing, the one that I was really excited about. And I've got like 12 different program files for it. Like, what if I take this bridge out? What if I change this? What if I change that? And they're all separate. And I was having a little bit of like, I don't know what to do with it. So I'm like, what if I just write something simpler in the meantime, take a little break from this,
perfect,
more complex song. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I like about this approach too, is it's like, I've got kind of these long range assignments of like, here's the song that I'm kind of putting more blood, sweat, and tears into. And here's something that's a little more stripped down acoustic and vocal, a little more standard or traditional. And I like that. It keeps things fresh and interesting. and I can always bounce between the songs if I need to, as long as I try to release at least one song a month, or something like that. So I do. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, no, maybe it's also good because this is something that kicks you in the ass, basically. That you do something, and if you miss the deadline and you don't do it, you won't die, or nothing bad will happen because your millions of fans will not cry out and there will be a Twitter shitstorm or something because you missed your deadline. So it's good, but it's also in a way, it's good to have this deadline because then you have a certain goal to work for, and then it kind of gives you an end point. Because this is what I meant earlier. It's kind of it's hard to sometimes finish a song because you can always change something and put another chorus or put some more effects and things and whatever. But sometimes it's just good to end it, and then, like I said, make another version in 5 years when you're like, oh man, I always wanted to let's do that, or do a remix. That's another thing. Once you're putting things out, you can reach out to other artists and kind of get, I'm doing this and that song, can you make a remix? Then you get also the benefits of the other guys that they kind of put their name on it and their spin on it, and you kind of, their fans listen to your song and find you. I mean, first you will not find some bigger names, but once again you will work your way up, and then they remix you and you remix them maybe, and when don't stretch yourself too thin. I know you're just a one-man army like me, but now you did the first step and things can happen because you're visible now. And now we just have to kind of shape it a little bit better and form it into something that, you can stand behind it. And and like I did this example with a teacher and stuff. I read once that Nine Inch Nails, the guy Trent Reznor, that he was a little bit... he felt a little bit silly when he brought his children to school, and the teachers would ask him about some songs he did where he was like fuck you and stuff, and like the sins of a youth and things. So, but if you kind of keep it separated in your grindcore realm, then this is fine, and when you have the really sensitive singer-songwriter stuff and the more upbeat poppy things. And I like the idea to kind of have the different colors and they all shine in different lights. And and you just give access to grandma for the pop and acoustic stuff, and the rest she doesn't need to know about.
Yeah, well, she can choose to listen to whatever she wants, but I think I know which one she would choose to listen to. So, but yeah, I love that idea too. And I have to say, it's really helpful. I really appreciate, having you as a friend and someone to bounce things off of. It's I can't thank you enough for that, because
you're very welcome.
Taking the time offline too to actually listen to my music and give me feedback and perhaps help with some names and things here. It's huge, because like I said, not having anyone else in a project currently, it's too much me all the time, too much Brian Matteson, which for me can be a bad thing. It's great for everyone else, but not for me.
Okay, Brian.
So anyway,
I'm just want to be time conscious because you have an appointment. You said so. I don't know when we will have to end.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's not until noon. I've got someone coming over actually to practice for a show. I'm doing a show with a friend, not part of Gary the Band. And he'll be here at noon my time, which is another hour. But it might be nice to have some time to grab lunch and
no problem.
So if this is a good time, or if you have anything else you want to cover
before we start something new, we could stop here. And what Okay, yeah, let's stop and then talk a little bit longer and just say goodbye to the audience.
That's
Um,
perfect. So yeah, thank you so much for having me and everyone out there listening. And if you have any ideas on what we're talking about too, feel free to comment and let us know. You know, we've kind of covered a lot of things here, and or if you found the secret and you want to let us in, you know, feel free to do that too.